Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. So here's what I'm thinking about. Let's go all the way back to 2020, all the way back to where it all began. And let's look at the moment that we divided, in my mind, we divided as a country and chose a side. Because this is the seed of where it all began, because we're very divided right now. We're very divided. And we can't keep going. We can't keep going like this. We got to come together. We got to heal it up. We've got to share each other's perspective so that we can understand where people are coming from. And I want your perspective because I'm going to share mine. So back in 2020, when our government came to us and said, oh my gosh, there's this really scary thing out there and you need to be afraid of it. And we're going to take your attention for the next 2 years to talk about this thing. In my mind, that was clearly bullshit. See, this is where my mind is. Clearly bullshit. Because my government doesn't need anything from me other than my tax dollars and my vote. That's all they need from me. The people in government don't care about me. They care about themselves. That's why they're in government. Sometimes they're there to do good things, but once you get in to do good things, I've never known a politician, and I can't think of one on the top of my head, but I've never known a politician that doesn't get seduced by the money and the power and the control. I've never known it. And I've watched a lot of them go back there. I think that's what happened to Trump. I think Trump thought he was in the money in his business. But when he saw politics and the business of politics, it made his money look like baby money. Seriously, baby money. You mean to tell me that you or I wouldn't be seduced by that kind of money? The finest of the finest? Planes, trains, and automobiles, hotels, experiences. And did I mention the money? You mean to tell me that you wouldn't compromise a little bit here and there? Oh, you've got to be a huge person not to get caught up in that. Super, super grounded with God. And you know what? My observation, people, there's not a lot of those people around. It's a rare breed here on earth. I hate saying that, but I feel that. That could be my perception, but I'm just saying. They're in there. The seeds of those people are in here, in us. We just haven't activated enough of them. And the devil, working through these clowns and these characters working in a global scene, trying to push collectivism, the devil uses them to make sure that we don't activate that seed or plant that seed or give that seed attention or water or nutrients. Because when that seed grows, the devil/evil players, they know they're done. This is why they write textbooks with things we don't need, telling us things that aren't true, that don't benefit us, that don't remind us about who and what we are. Images, people created in the image and likeness of God. How does it get more divine than that? What are you going to do? It doesn't. So I knew they're always lying. It was a long way around. We went down a long path there, and we're going to go way back to the top. I know they're always lying to me, and so I didn't listen to anything they said. And in my mind, I turned around to people around me and I said, can you believe this shit they're spilling? Can you believe they think we're going to buy this shit? And lo and behold, some people were buying that shit. Like, I was astonished, quite frankly. Astonished. Because a week prior, we were all standing around the water cooler making jokes about how screwed up our government was. The DMV, the Department of Defense, spending a bunch of money, leaving weapons of mass destruction in Afghanistan, doing what in my humble opinion is the worst pullout ever from a foreign country after we've occupied them. Don't get me started on this. We fucked over those Afghani people in a royal way, because for 20 years, our military kept begging and pleading the Afghani people to chum up to us, to trust us, to believe in us. We got your back. And then in the blink of an eye, we fucked them. You don't think that karma's coming back to us in some way, shape, or form? It is. It is. It's got to be. How can it not? Right? America's sowed some fucking crazy seeds. And you know what happens? As you sow, you will reap. And we got a bad reaping coming to us. I hate to be negative about it. We can fix it. We can go dig up those seeds in a heartbeat. We can fix it. Everything can be healed. But we can't let this play out. We can't let evil players get away with what they're getting away with. And all I'm advocating for is to share knowledge and information, and also research knowledge and information. That's how we win. It's an information war, right? That's all it is an information war. The evil side has given us information that is creating chaos and division and uncertainty and lack of clarity about what to do, who to be, how to serve. And then we need to get super clear, and we need to tune in and make sure that we're walking our path, because that's how we win. When you know yourself, not only as an infinite spiritual being created in the image and likeness of God, and also then you express in your own unique way, whatever that way is, building, creating music, managing, working with numbers, working in medicine, whatever comes naturally to you, because remember, God encoded every single one of us with a little bit of wisdom. All the wisdom in the universe is broken up into every human being. That's why more wisdom comes into the world, in my humble opinion, as more people come into the world, because we bring it in. Like you're a packet, in you is a packet of information and wisdom that God knows the people in the physical world need to see. So he sends it to you as a messenger. You're both the vessel and the cargo. And when you get here, you got to unload that cargo. Come on, crack it open. Let's see what you got. Don't die with your cargo still inside of you. Unload it, unpack it. We need that. Why do you think I'm doing this? You think I'm doing this for my health? I'd rather sit and watch Netflix, quite honestly. That's not entirely true. There's fun in watching Netflix, but you know what's more fun? Actually being in the game, creating something, doing something, going somewhere, talking with someone. It's great to watch actors and actresses have a conversation that's clever and witty, but you know what? It's way more better to do it yourself. I mean, with someone else. Unless you have multiple people in your head, which I sometimes do. But that's the game of life, right? I mean, that's the goal. And you know what? I don't always hit that goal. It's challenging, right? To walk this line of always staying in the sweet spot, because the sweet spot moves, right? You think you know yourself and you think you're outside of your comfort zone, and then the comfort zone gets moved, right? That's how life is. Do you think life's going to just give you one comfort zone to get out of? I wish. I mean, or one plateau to reach. No, we'd get bored sitting on that plateau. You go to a plateau and you're like, well, I made it to this thing, and now I'm going to go to that other thing, because you see new vistas as you walk through life, right? If you're going towards, an objective, and I recommend the objective be joy, to enjoy yourself, to express yourself. If you're going toward the feeling if you're going toward the right feeling, right? If you're not just chasing the money, but go toward the feeling behind the money of feeling satisfied with your life and and happy and joyful, and you're walking your purpose and your life has meaning and fulfillment, you feel fulfilled and you're energized and you feel alive every day, that's the goal. The money's not the goal. That's my experience. Because a lot of people make money and they're out of alignment with who they are, and that's not a life that you want, no matter how much money you make. That's a prison, because then what happens is we get the golden handcuffs on us from the money, and we're afraid to let go, to swing to another branch, or we're afraid to get off that trail, that path, that road, and get out our machete and go walking through the jungle toward a new destination that feels better. It's the curse. It really is a curse. Doesn't have to be. I mean, if you have a boatload of cash, you could say, you know what? Thank you, Jesus, for setting me up these past years so that I can invest now in my true purpose. I mean, you're actually better off, because money solves problems, my friend. And that's a big problem, to say, you know what? I'm going to give myself some space to create this shit. And as we're on this subject, I want to thank the people that helped me and give me space and gave me space and continue to give me space to create this shit. You know, we all have it. We all have people that helped us up. No man is an island. No woman is an island. So, you know, all these people that say I'm self-made and I did this shit myself, I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad that's how you feel. I don't feel that way. I have 50 billion people. Well, not 50 billion. That's too many. I have a lot of people that helped me in different ways, at different times, in different places, in different areas. So that's just the thing. But anyway, two camps of people. I think my government's always lying to me. They think their government's always telling them the truth. See, we're never going to agree. I'm never going to be able to agree with you there. They think my government works for me, they think our government works for them. I know, and I think my government doesn't work for me. It works for other people. You know, and I'm just the means to an end. It's a business transaction. And in business transactions, no. I'm not going to, no, there doesn't go further than that. You don't automatically get an in. Let me just share this. This is related, but I got to get this off my chest because I think it's hilarious. All in 2021, people that were vaccine hesitant, we got a rash of shit. Like, we were called stupid. We were made to look like fools, ignorant, like Neanderthal people that couldn't think it through. Like, that was the vibe that we got from staunch, you know, rule followers / science followers, even though I hate that term because they hijacked that term, right? But people that believed the mainstream narrative, let's just call it that, right? There was such a push towards us that part of it, I laid low and didn't talk about it. And then when I realized that, no, we are literally, and I'm saying everybody, but let's just talk about the President of the United States in his September 2021 speech. When he said, hey, our patience is wearing thin. See, I felt that, and I took that as a direct attack on me as a human being who gets to choose what I put into my body and what I don't. If I want to eat a Kit Kat, I'm going to eat a Kit Kat. If I don't want your vaccine, I'm not going to get your vaccine. You see, that's how it works. And as I go through life, the more in alignment I am with me, and the stronger my relationship is, I don't compromise myself anymore. I used to. I don't compromise myself anymore. So the order of events was, I knew my government was lying to me. My president makes a verbal aggression toward me. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is new. This is a new development. And so immediately I go into, I either have to start speaking my truth, start sharing knowledge and information to the contrary of what he and his little group is saying, or I might not be around, or I might not win this spiritual war, this war of ideas, this war of consciousness that we're in. That's a very real possibility. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to start sharing and speaking about this because I know, and I had this happen, some people that I know started to look at me like I was a little bit cray-cray. Yeah. And for a recovered people pleaser, that doesn't feel good. But that shows you the level of conviction that I have. It's more worth it it's more important that I speak my truth. And it's more important that you speak your truth, is what I believe, than what other people think of us. Because again, we're detaching from the physical world to a degree, just enough, and planting our foot in our spiritual realm where we have all of our power. And you detach just enough so that you're bridging the gap, right? That's how the light's going to come in. You're the conduit. That's all you have to do. I wrote this in my journal this morning. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's also the easiest thing you'll ever do. Right? Let's say it again. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do because it's going to require that you do one of the hardest things, which is don't give a shit what people think about you. Right? We are social creatures, but you got to just do it with love. But now is the time to choose a side, to say, I'm on this side for these reasons because these are my values and this is what I stand for. And to that point, I'm on the side of, I don't want my government telling me what to do, or I don't want my government deciding what comes into my body because I don't trust them, right? And I'm for more freedom and more autonomy. And I also know that all human beings are fallible and all human beings are corruptible. And I don't want to take that chance. It's not a chance I want to take that the human being thinking for me is incorruptible or infallible. It's not something I want to do. So I'm going to get a bunch of options, a bunch of opinions. I'm not going to listen to one guy who makes the most money of our federal government employees tell me what I need to do, because that's not how I do my research. I want to remind you again, and you know this because you're listening, we are in the information age. You don't hide much, if anything, from people in the information age. Here's how they hide it. They hide it by convincing you that you don't even need to look for it. Don't waste your time. For whatever reason, the reasons are numerous that people believe that. Either they think they're more stupid or dumber than the person that is quote unquote the leader to them, authority to them, because they've been brainwashed through the education system and the public, health system, and the whole world tells them, hey, those are our leaders. Dude, have you seen what those leaders are? Do you know how imperfect they are in pretty much every area of life? And you're still going to keep them on a pedestal? No. That's not happening. So you are the one in touch. Why you need these people to get in the middle? You don't need a middleman, because you know what happens to the middleman. They make a lot of money, especially when you're flowing your thinking and your feeling. You say, okay, I'm going to hand over what I think and feel to you to describe what I think and feel, and I'm going to let you do that. That is dangerous. When you hear it like that, it makes people sound crazy. And it doesn't, mind you, they don't just come to your door and say, hey, would you like me to tell you to think what to think and how to feel? Let me just do that for you right now. No, they don't ask you. It starts in school. The indoctrination starts early. You're brought into the system. I didn't mean for this to get into a whole type of diatribe on this, but it's important to know. You're brought into the system and socialized and conditioned from day one. And if you're lucky, after 18 years of conditioning, you get out of it and you go do something else. Because college is great, But the reason that they tell you to go to college isn't the reason to go to college. Go to college for the experience. Go to college for the discipline. Don't go to college to believe what you learn in college, because it is the quintessential finishing school of creating a human being that is detached from themselves. That's what it is. That's what it is. You don't get more in tune with yourself in an institution created by man and women. You don't. It doesn't happen. You get in tune with yourself by putting yourself in experience that are stretches for you and learning. And you get in tune with yourself by deliberately walking toward your perfect expression on this planet, or what feels the most to you. You use your internal compass and you say, you know what? I'm going to move toward what feels good. I'm like a glow bug. I'm going to move toward ideas and words and people that make me glow the brightest. Remember, that's the light coming into the world. The conduit is multi-dimensional, and that brings the light into the world. And so when you're doing what you came here, when you're doing what feels the best, what your ikigai is, right? Your reason for being, your purpose, that's when the world takes note. And those people, they change the world. That's how the world gets changed. What do you think the Dark Ages was? We were misled. The Dark Ages don't have to be. They didn't have to be. Well, that's not true. The Dark Ages did have to be, but it's just like your life. Let's look at a different analogy, because this is an interesting topic. It's just like your life. You don't have to live on the streets to know how to not live on the streets and to know what it feels like to be homeless. You don't have to. Human beings don't need to have the experience firsthand in order to get the lesson from the experience. I mean, it's one and one. It's the same thing, because we have an imagination. We can think it through. We can feel into it how we would feel in that situation and go, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever go there. So I'm going to go to work. I'm going to get up and I'm going to create some value in the world so that I don't have to do that. And that doesn't look fun to me, living on the streets. And so take it back to this idea that I'm talking about. You don't have to know everything about it. You don't have to experience it in order to fix it, right? So we don't have to go through this shit. All we have to do is know history. Why do you think I'm speaking up? Why do you think many people are speaking up? And also, I'll tell you something else. A lot of the ones that aren't speaking up, here it is. Here's my theory. 25% believe the bullshit. 50% are kind of going to go either way. They're like I used to be. Well, in some things. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm going to go with whatever. I'll be good with whoever wins. So it's only 25% against 25%. So you think you're fighting the whole other 75%? No. That middle will go where the winner goes. This is the same thing with warring countries in history. 50% or maybe even 70% of people aren't involved. They're not involved. They're just to the victor go the spoils. That's what's going to happen. That's where the 50% goes. So don't think you're fighting 75%. Don't think the people in your tribe that are silent when you share something or post something, and I got a lot more to share that I need to get out there, things that I picked up on my journey from people about the situation in the world, because we got to share more knowledge here. So don't think that just because they don't say something that they're not benefiting from you sharing. Because again, remember, let's review. Rule number 1, we all benefit when you know yourself and when you express yourself. I thought that was a rule number 2, but I can't remember it at the moment. It's something related to that. So express yourself and share yourself. That's your only duty. Your number 1 primary duty is to be yourself, your truest, most authentic self. 100% flowing your spiritual being who is fearless and knows exactly the game plan, and letting that being, that essence ride you like you ride it like a roller coaster through life. That's what I think we do. Because you know the saying, you'll feel like you're just along for the ride, and it'll be the most exhilarating ride you've ever been on. That's another one of the ways to know your purpose. What feels the most exhilarating to you? Because it's not going along on a little, wagon on the side of the street. That's not. No. And that's, again, a metaphor for doing something that is way out of alignment with who you are. That your little glow bug light isn't even on. It's not even flickering. It's completely dark. Do what you can to get out of that situation, because again, we all want to let more light into the world. I know it's going to be weird. I know that it's going to, my experiences, it's going to be a total radical shift in our economy. It's going to be a shift in how we think and what we do. But we've been living so far out of alignment. Not only can we not go any further with this, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, we're sick in all those areas. Not only can we not continue to go forward, but our planet can't continue to go forward. We can't live like this anymore. Otherwise we're going to live on a junk planet. We will have created so much garbage. Our whole world will be garbage. You look around. I mean, the cities are producing garbage like crazy. We've got to live in harmony. We've got to carry our own bowl around with us like a freaking modern day nomad, and cups and silverware and a reusable cloth napkin. Come on. I mean, you know what? That's the vision of this like modern day spiritual fucking badass, right? Walking around, laptop, cell phone, backpack, a small little cooking gear thing, or a little bowl of high vibe superfoods that they made that morning, because they know that they got to live their purpose and they want to stay working / playing as long as they can. Why not? Why not? Why does that have to be so mundane? Why do you have to put on khakis and a freaking blue shirt? And believe me, I've worn plenty of khakis and blue shirts. But I don't think that's who we really are, right? That's why this is happening, in my opinion. Again, it's an opportunity. You don't think that these evil players on the scene are giving you an opportunity? They're giving me an opportunity. They're giving me an opportunity to step up and stand up and say, no, you may not have that thing that you want. You may not have access to my divine vessel, I don't care how that offends you or not. You cross the line. You cross the line, and I expect an apology, and promptly. Or we can like, you know what it is? It's straight up Dirty Harry style. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. You decide. Because the same connection you have to spirit and to God is the same connection I have. So in this scenario, I believe we are at an impasse. We're giving you the opportunity to back the fuck down, or we expose you and you look like a freaking idiot to everyone. How do you want to play it? How do you want to play it? Because again, in the information age, you don't hide a lot. You don't hide a lot from people who want to know. From people who care about themselves and their other fellow human beings and the planet. You don't hide something from them. And I'll tell you what else you don't do. You don't hide something at all from a person's intuition. I mean, you can try to hide all you want, but you don't hide from people who are plugged in and tuned in. You don't hide from their intuition. You can't hide from intuition. Again, that's the source. Both of our intuitions are hanging out on the other side going, this sure is interesting to watch them. watch them battle. We're connected to the same pure source. This is what Krishna talks about. He says, you know what? You don't got to get worked up about it, Arjuna. Just get in the game and play the game. I know you see, well, I'm telling you what is really going on, and then you just get in the game and play the game. This is it. This is the battlefield that we came to play. And you do that by being yourself. Arjuna did that by being himself. Don't be misled by the fact that Arjuna was a warrior. We're all warriors. You're a warrior in your own way. Are you a warrior in culinary, in foods, making foods for people to heal their bodies and give them the best nutrients so they can think and act in ways that expose evil and bring more light into the world and clean up the world and make the world a better place? Are you that kind of a person? Or are you a person that builds spaces that are inspiring for people to live in? Because remember, mundane spaces create mundane lives. Everything's connected. Create space in your home that inspires you. Bring art and artifacts into your home and music and scents. And follow people that inspire you so that you can be inspired all the time, because you want to kindle that fire within you, that flame. Do you want to get that glow bug, your little glow bug belly glowing really hot? Really hot. You know, so don't think you need to be a warrior with magical bow and arrow to get in the game, right? Anything you do. Dentists, you know who some of my favorite people are? Dentists and hygienists. I love them. I've cherished them. You got to do what you're inspired to do. That's the whole thing. There's nothing more. Turn your back on this crazy, wacky world and let's realign. Let's recalibrate back. We got to go back. We're way out of harmony with nature right now. I'll tell you, if we don't go back, we're gonna break up. It's gonna break up our physical vessel. I'm 100% certain of it. 100%. Which, if that's what happens, that's what happens. You've seen the videos circulating on YouTube. MIT professors predict civilization will end in 2040. Doesn't sound too fun to me. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. But all I want to know is that, again, I'm speaking my truth, sharing my thoughts, adding to the collective conversation that we're all having. It's all a big conversation. Don't let the clowns with the biggest megaphone be overbearing in the conversation and take over the conversation. Because if you do, you're making a big mistake. Because in my experience, those clowns with that big megaphone, I'm going to say it. They're the least honorable in many ways. Not all. I want to clarify, not all. There have been good ones that are back there for the soul. But remember, like I talked about earlier, it's a corrupting place. It's like looking into Medusa's eyes. Most mortal men and women can't do it. You're going to succumb. Right? Again, I'm not faulting them, but that's how the devil works. You know, the devil uses the material world experiences to seduce you. God uses the spiritual ones, right? See, the devil can never repay you in joy, because the devil doesn't have that joy. He doesn't carry that currency. That currency is God's currency, right? You serve the devil. The only thing the devil gives you is material pleasures of the flesh, which, you know what? They're not, yeah, they have their place. They have their place, you know, but you can't get the joy from the devil because he doesn't take that system of money. He doesn't have that money. So he can't pay you in that money. You got to get that from God. You know, it's time where we turn away. We've been seduced. We've we've succumbed to the bread and circuses. We've been distracted from ourselves, self with a capital S, and ultimately then distracted from God. All right. Thank you for listening. I'll wrap it up. A lot of what I talked about in this episode are ideas from my Purpose Finder course, which is available at gmarkphillips.com/courses. And a lot of the ideas that I operate in my life well, not a lot, all of them. All of my courses solved my problems, the same problems that all human beings have. What to do with your life, how to overcome fear, procrastination, doubt, uncertainty, right? How to step into your greatest version of yourself and be the person you were destined to be when you came into the world. All my courses and books are about that. Solving my own problems, and then I make them available to you. They're all available at gmarkphillips.com/books or gmarkphillips.com/courses. And if you want to talk about this one-on-one, about your specific thing, and you don't want to buy the book or the course, gmarkphillips.com/consulting. Let's talk about it. I mean, I've been doing this for 15, 20 years-ish, studying about this human condition, the human experience, getting out of my comfort zone, setting a goal for myself and saying, I want to get better at this. In college, it was, I want to get better at talking to women. I want to be less shy. I want to be confident. So you get a bunch of books and you go out to a bunch of bars. And you just practice over and over again. Or, you know what? I want a digital business. I want to be able to have that lifestyle because I see a lot of things going digital. I see digital economy coming in the future, right? And I see AI and robots doing many of the things that we do now. And what is that going to do? It's going to free us up to create in whatever way you want. Why do you think 3D printers and collaboration is happening now? Because we're coming into what I feel, again, we're always at a fork in the road. We're either going to go dark ages or light ages. But let's just look for a moment about what I feel is one potential outcome, I know is one potential outcome, and that is a renaissance, an incredible renaissance, a creative renaissance, where we share ideas freely and openly. We have access to the very best food, the very best health care. See, I think the old system's dying. I think this is the last kicking, tantrum-giving breath it's got. It's not going to go, it can't go forward because, again, like I say, if we're always moving to the light and we're always moving to higher levels of consciousness and awareness and understanding, periodically there's going to be an aspect of us that can't go there. It can't go there. And this is why to become the person you want to be, you got to let go of the person you were. And this is why to become the race that we want to be, knowledgeable, open to new information, clairvoyant, clairsentient, guided by our soul, more on a ride where we're moving past, because cavemen are about survival. They're 100% grounded in the physical world. Like you either eat that thing or that thing is going to eat you. Okay. that is, you either club that thing or that thing is going to club you. That is all it is as a caveman. There's not a lot of higher levels of thinking there. But as we go home, quote unquote home, we're going to be experiencing more. We can experience more spiritual action in this world, more the feeling of allowing spirit to flow more freely through us. We can experience that more in this world if we want to. But remember, evil forces, the devil is going to continually try to distract us from doing that because, again, that's not the devil's game. Again, the devil don't play that game. So it comes down to very, very simple terms. Do you want to play the game that the devil's playing, or do you want to play the game that God is playing? You got to decide that. Thank you for listening. Check out those courses. Let me know if you want consulting. I'm a big fan of making it simple. I usually like to get things done in an hour. I don't know about you, but I don't want to drag this shit out. you know, I mean, I'm here to help in any way that I can. But initially, listening to you and talking to you, that's where I love. I love it when people come to me and say, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. Because for many years, I described myself, and I still think of myself in this way, but also as I move into more of my own journey of self-expression, but I still think of myself in this way, and that is a business and lifestyle design consultant. Because I've studied about a lot of different businesses. I've studied about a lot of different types of people. I love talking to people. I love hearing what they do. I'm in a very, I'm an information gatherer. That's one thing that I have lately, this new idea, again, a new plateau. It's like, Mark, what are you really? As I'm thinking of how to sell myself in this world, this new world that we're coming into, I was like, Mark, what are you really? Like, what's the most, if someone asked you what you do, and one of the things that came to my mind was a gatherer of knowledge and information, and then a distiller of that knowledge and information, because all of us can't read all the books and know all the knowledge, but one of us can take an area of life and go, you know what? I'm going to get a lot of knowledge here. I mean, I don't have a family. I mean, I have a family, but I'm not married. I don't have kids. I get to do this shit all day long. Like, I have no distractions other than, I have the normal things everyone has, but make no mistake about it. and some may call it quirky. I probably own 3 fiction books. 3. Everything else is about the human experience, right? Everything else is about that. Because again, selfish reasons that I build a business around. I want to make my own life better. I want to grow. I want to have a better experience in life. And so all the things and tools that I did to make that happen and make me get out a blank sheet of paper and go, okay, what life do you want to build, Mark? Yeah, sky's the limit. Don't hold back. Wow. Okay, then all those tools, that's how I built that. That's how I'm building it. Let's be clear, it's never done. You're never going to be done. And like I've said 1,000,000 times, maybe only 10, like I've said it 10 times, all you have to do, see, the universe pays you up front. And I'm not talking about money or things or objects. I'm talking about the feeling, the acknowledgement that you're a fucking badass. The universe is going to pay you up front. You get out your map and you map out, and again, let's be clear. You don't have to have it all vision. You don't have to have the whole vision. Just map out the first plateau. What's the best feeling you can do now? What do you enjoy the most now? What are you into now? What are you vibing with now? Then you just go to that plateau. And then there's going to be another plateau. There's always going to be another plateau, but you just got to stay in what you're into now. And what I mean by that is, or what I mean by the universe pays you, is the universe is going to pay you up front, because the moment you step foot on your hero's journey, the moment that universe puts that into your bank account, your emotional bank account, and then you're all like, dang, that felt really good. I'm really proud of me. I overcame one of the hard aspects. I don't want to say the hardest. Some people say it's the hardest. The first step is the hardest. I think it's also pretty hard to keep taking steps. But you know what? For the sake of argument, let's say the first step is the hardest. You just did 80% of the work, and the universe is like, I got you. I see you're on it. I'm going to put this into your bank account, because the universe is all about God is all about good faith. I'm trying to replace universe with God as I move forward, because it feels better to me now. Again, it didn't used to feel better to me. But as I go on my own journey and I'm exposed to other beings, other human beings, I change. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take into consideration what you're saying, and I might do that. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. You're going to get that huge benefit right up front. Those courses are all designed to help you do that, or they make great gifts. Let's just give them as gifts. If you know maybe your life is swell, right? Maybe your life is swell. Maybe you know someone whose life isn't swell. How about buying them a consultation, right? I love that shit. I love talking to people, figuring out how they can be themselves and do things that are a natural expression of themselves and get paid big money. Because make no mistake about it, when you are yourself, capital S, let's just change that capital S to dollar signs. Because the world, most people are not themselves. Again, this is not for the faint of heart. This is for people who want to say, you know what? I'm going to take that shot. I might as well. What have I got to lose? What have I got to lose? I want to have the best story to tell on the other side. Gather around, guys. Guess what I tried to do? Or guess what I did? Yeah, again, the story on the other side is always going to be guess what I did. I tuned into who I was, and I got out a blank sheet of paper and I said, okay, now what's the biggest, most fun, audacious, inspiring goal you can think of? What's that thing that the little voice inside of you's been telling you for X number of years that you poo-poo? Or that you find 50 reasons why you can't be it or do it or have it. That's what I'm talking about. And you, again, the moment you set foot, because the work is in the planning and preparation. Remember, you have a whole spiritual aspect working on your behalf. And Emerson said, once you decide, the universe conspires to make it happen. But again, the devil's going to tell you, oh, you can't do it. I'm sorry, you can't do that. You don't have the right credentials. You don't have a degree. I'm sorry, you can't do that. You don't know the right people. I'm sorry, you can't do that. See, God sent you in with your briefcase, handcuffed to your hand, your spiritual briefcase, and your blueprint for the badass life that you can have if you choose. It's mission impossible, my friend. If you choose to accept the mission, the spoils will be yours. And we've talked about the spoils. It's not cars. It's a feeling of the most alive shit you've ever felt. It's a feeling of freedom. And I've tasted it. And it freaking tastes so good. It's so good. One drop will sustain you for probably 100 years. One drop. Because I know. I've been doing this for almost 10 years since I decided to embark. I was like, you know what? I've seen what the world's offered me and it's okay, but I'm going to see what God is going to offer me. I'm going to shop around. Shop around. There's a whole bunch of roads for you in life. And don't just take the easy road. You know it. What was it? Frost that said it? I took the path less worn. That's the jungle path that I talk about. We are walking down with a machete, swapping our way. But along that path, again, you're picking up nuggets, emotional nuggets of, dang, that feels really good. Or, dang, I really connected with that person. Or, dang, I'm really proud of myself. When you hang with yourself and you go, you know what? You're kind of a badass. You're a badass for facing your fears. You're a badass for getting up every day, even though you fail every freaking day. I mean, you're going to have so much respect for yourself. You're going to be like, wow, you really impressed me. Like, you're still a screw up, but you're going forward. You come back every day. Like, no, of course, it's all just stumbling our way through like babies. We're just falling on our face every day, but come to get into game the next day with a big old scratch on your face and be like, what are we doing today? I think I can make a few more steps today without falling down. That's been one of my biggest lessons in life, is just let go of the fear of failure and mistakes. As a perfectionist, it's huge. And again, the game taught me that. as I go and play the game and I get frustrated, and then I say, and I step back, and because you got to coach yourself in the game, you got to be like, or allow your Holy Spirit to coach you and say, hey, how can I improve? And they're like, well, you got to fail a lot more. You got to loosen up. You got to be okay with it. You got to stop thinking about what people think of you so much, because it's getting in your head. You got to be in your head, not thinking about what's going on in their head. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? What do you know? What problems do you see the world? What problems in the world do you know that you can solve? Are you a marine biologist? Do you know how to get the plastic out of the ocean? I will happily pay you to do that. I hate seeing the plastic in the ocean. And don't get me wrong, I got some designs on paper myself. But you know what? I'm busy with these things I'm creating here. I'm busy with Focus and Flow, products and apparel for conscious creators. Not as busy as I should be, but that is the gear that you need to remember, that you need to remind yourself that what you focus on expands. And that is one of your superpowers. That's your apparel for life. What you focus on, what you flow your conscious energy to, your conscious attention to, is going to create a feeling in you that either feels good or bad. And the purpose of that is it's attracting either good or bad experiences to you. My new revelation is to take all the images off my vision board, every single image of things that I want, and put only images of things that I have that remind me how blessed I am and how fortunate I am. And I look at that every day. And then I just get in that mode. And then I know that God is going to send me things that are a match to that, because I'm not going to attract something that I'm not vibing with. We know that. And that's how stubborn I felt. I've been focusing on things that I don't have that cause me to feel a state of lack. And guess what? Life becomes a lot sloggier. Slog. Experiences stay the same. So make no mistake about it. You may know how to play the game, but again, like any game, if you don't practice that on a daily basis and do that work, you could have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't put it into action, nothing's going to change. So that's just my experience. Thank you for watching, or thank you for listening. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Subscribe, turn on the bell if you want to be notified. And until next time, have an awesome night. Bye-bye.